cynic. Let's talk about combat here for a second, because Nika, we forced you to play Tera.
Oh, I was hoping we'd get through an episode and we wouldn't need her to say anything about it.
That just wasted my life yesterday.
I was thinking about it. Thinking about it. No. But Nika, we forced you at gunpoint to play Tera, kicking and screaming the entire time.
Not that much.
I'm kidding.
Had to clear up some space on my computer.
I heard that boobs were a big aspect of that game.
Yeah, so I understand.
Oh my God, they are.
So
I am a gorgeous girl with big cans.
Here's the only thing that I know about Tera is that they seem to have programmed a lot in terms of jiggle physics, but I don't know anything else about it.
Yeah, the jiggle physics are wrong. So like every single female outfit, even if it's like hard leather, like a hard armor, has open front cleavage with, even though hard armored cups will jiggle. It doesn't make sense.
I'm fine. This sounds awesome.
Like there's not a single female outfit, even the starter gear, that doesn't have boobs. Like it's very pretty design. It's just very weird.
Okay, so we asked you to compare Tera's battle system to FF14's.
It is the 100% opposite. So I've only gotten, I played it yesterday for probably 10 hours, and I got to level 29, I think. And from what I can see, there's the battle system is very actiony, but it's also very streamlined at the same time. So there's some good things about it and there's some bad things about it. Almost every move combos off of the previous move, and when that happens, it just pops up and you can just mash spacebar the entire time and not actually have to press the buttons.
Sounds intelligent.
There are, yeah. I mean, I think as you get higher level,
Kappa.
I think as you get higher level and you get more abilities, they're less likely to do that. But you can hit, FF14 has its 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then it's up, and then it's off global cooldowns. Tera doesn't have a global cooldown. You're just mashing the left click is attack and right click is evade, and the other moves are all on their own cooldowns. However, using other moves resets other moves cooldowns. So essentially, even though some of them have cooldowns, is once you get enough moves, they're all resetting each other and you're almost always using something.
Sounds interesting.
It is pretty cool, but then the ones that all combine off of each other are like, oh, you can use this now, press spacebar, press spacebar. And I can do 8 moves in a row just pressing spacebar. So it's kind of lame in that aspect, but then there are a few moves like my dash forward or my explosive ones that don't use that. So I actually have to reach up and press my macro keys, which is kind of awkward sometimes considering the mouse is the camera, so I can't click on any of them. So I have to let go of my movement, which is very important in Tera because you actually have to dodge. And there are AoE grounds when things are casting, like ground spells like we have in 14, or if something's about to smash you down with your hand, you have to hit your right click evade and evade around it, which is pretty cool. So I think it's much more hectic of a battle system because you can fight, I can take on 20 mobs my level at once and kill them. It's almost every single,
very fun. Very satisfying.
It is actually. Even though the battle system hasn't gotten super complex at level 29, I feel like I'm constantly able to accomplish things, and almost every single move I do is AoE. Almost every single one will hit everything around me. Sometimes that's awesome, sometimes not so awesome when I hit something that's a little bit higher level. In terms of doing the quests, it's interesting because all of the MSQ quests are streamlined into the overworld, which seems cool, but then they either respawn or don't respawn at really stupid levels. So it's I'm doing this boss. There's a boss here. I have to go into this Beastman encampment. I see the boss. I kill him. He respawns in 2 seconds and aggroes me again.
Yeah, I did notice. I did notice some of that quick respawn problem with ESO. And
I go back to the NPC and they're like, "Oh, you killed him." And I was like, yeah, I killed him 4 times.
Right.
Because he wouldn't leave me alone.
Which one did you count? But I mean, in terms of ESO, I think that their battle system may be one of the things that kind of holds them back a little bit. I was not as impressed with the battle system. Here, I'm going to do a quick impression of the battle system right here. You're going to be doing this a lot. Just click to attack a lot.
Tera feels like a lot of clicking, but at the higher level, every single level I go, you have to actually buy your abilities. I mean, and at first, gold seems really, really hard, but once you've done one dungeon, you've got just superfluous amounts of gold.
Remember when you had to do that in WoW, and then they're like, "That's really dumb. Who wants to buy their abilities?"
But you can. But the thing is, it's you can buy them from an ability vendor, but you can also just open your ability menu and buy all of them. So
that's just pointless then.
There's a lot of pointless stuff in it. Playing through it as a low player, I realize there's a lot of things in Tera that FF14 has done 10,000 times better. Like, you know, like inventory management. For God's sake, like everything is in your inventory and you have to expand your inventory, and equipping gear is so frustrating. Although every single time you mouse over a gear, it has your current equipped piece so you can compare and sell things way easier. That's nice. But like having an armory chest versus an inventory is like the best thing 14 could have ever done for management. Like that's amazing. Like there's no level sync in Tera. So the thing about dungeons is that you can actually out level the dungeon queues. So like what I do really like about Tera's dungeons is that there are actually overworld quests that require you to go in the dungeon and do them. Some of them are like just kill a mob you're going to kill anyway. Some of them are like go over to these boxes and explode them. And if you're not actually doing that, you can ignore that quest completely if you don't have it on your quest log, or you can go and do it. And I thought that was kind of cool because it kept giving me a reason to queue back into the dungeon. Okay. And then it was like, oh, go in there and talk to this NPC at the beginning of the dungeon that I didn't talk to the last time I went through, you know, like little things like that then I can come out and do an overworld quest and get some more XP because of it. I thought that was really cool. However, I then decided to progress through the story. I gained a lot of levels. I went to go queue back up for the dungeon and it's no longer there. And so I Googled it and I realized you can out level the dungeon queues, and now I have to either find a party outside and walk into the dungeon myself or get high enough level to do it solo, which kind of sucks because now those quests are just sitting there not getting done.
So I think the point that we're kind of driving at is that in terms of the combat, actually FF14 really holds up versus other games. And I actually think as I play more MMOs and kind of branch out, that I find myself every time I return to FF14, the battle system is the thing that is kind of the standout.
It's good, but I do know that, like, I mean, Strife was always complaining when going back and forth between WoW and 14 that WoW has a much shorter global cooldown, so it feels like more action based, even though it does have a global cooldown. Whereas 14 has like a 2.53 second global cooldown. It does give it that slower feel. We're coming from things like 11 where like you literally stand there, stand there and swing until you get 100 TP and then hit one button. So like, you know, this seems extremely fast compared to that. But then playing Tera, I'm not sure how raids and higher level things will getting higher, but I know that a lot of it was just kind of like tank and spank, throw yourself at it. The dungeons were actually 5 people, like a tank, healer, and 3 DPS, and you just kind of throw yourself at the boss and just kind of flip dodge, just to kind of get around all the mechanics. I don't know if the mechanics get much harder than that in other dungeons. I do know the one thing I did like about the dungeon queues, though, is that if you're queuing for like 5 minutes and you haven't got a queue, a little thing will pop up that's like, we're having a hard time finding the ideal class setup. Would you still like to continue this queue anyway with maybe a less so ideal class setup? You can click yes or no. And then you go in and you might not have the right classes or whatever, but when you die, you can pay gold to just revive yourself. So it's
interesting.
It works. I mean, at the beginning, it sucks because it's like 3 big gold pieces, which I was like, I don't have that. But eventually you get that and it's no big deal. We were able to do an entire dungeon without a healer.
Gotcha. Well, interesting. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Mooney Xanadu of Coral, who wants to talk about FF14's combat system. Mooney, thanks for calling us here on Limit Break Radio.